to be vaccinated in some circumstances, to punish you if you don't. Those powers still exist. It's testimony to the fact that once we surrender these powers, once they're taken from us, it is very hard, if not impossible, to get them back. In 1919, Robert Menzies was then a student at the University of Melbourne. He'd lived through World War I, when, naturally, during a war, certain restrictions have been in place, certain freedoms have been removed. And he wrote an essay about this as a student, a prize-winning essay, which actually had contained far more wisdom and insight than has been shown by many adults in charge today. He said, of course, we surrender these freedoms in time of emergency. That is to be expected. But we must ensure they're given back. Because if they're allowed to persist, a terrible evil will have been perpetuated on humanity. Well, we hoped they would be removed, but they're very slow to be removed, and in states like South Australia, an incoming Labor government has taken what the Liberal government did in the cause of stopping this virus and amplified it, made it even more exaggerated, made the state even more powerful in these sort of emergencies. And then you get Jacinda Ardern's comments in the week. This too, I'm sure, comes from the fact that the left has been emboldened by what they've been able to achieve in COVID. Not ashamed as they should have been, not humbled, emboldened. And it comes through all over the place, doesn't it? This week we saw the ICAC laws, the draft ICAC laws presented to Parliament. Nobody wants corrupt politicians, of course not. But the powers that are being granted to what is essentially a kangaroo court to tap the phones of MPs, to raid public offices without a warrant, this is frankly scary, because we know where this leads. We know what happens. We know what happened in Victoria when they passed emergency laws and put Daniel Andrews in charge. We ended up with what I like to call a tyranny of incompetence. I mean, it's a bizarre thing about tyrannies. They're both incompetent and terrifying at the same time. And we had everything from the sinister to the silly. Let's start with the silly first, you know. People being told that they'd be arrested if they went to watch the sunset. You know, a bunch of kids up in Albury, I think, who were arrested for buying too much KFC because the police suspected they may be harbouring friends in their house to eat it. And then the sinister. And then the sinister. A woman, pregnant woman, arrested in her own home, in her pyjamas, marched off in handcuffs because of something she posted on Facebook. And the paramilitary style police, far, far more terrifying than anything I've ever seen. The sound of the sirens alone reminded me of watching riots in Soweto as a kid on the TV news. It was terrifying. Nothing like that has ever happened in Australia before, and yet there was seeming indifference from the general public. Having gone that way, of course, they advanced still further. Right now, of course, we're facing other threats to our doctors, the independence of our doctors. Laws going through the Victorian Parliament will shortly go through every state parliament in the country, which say that a doctor who does not offer advice that is the conventional wisdom of the medical profession will be struck off. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means that it used to be that if the doctor said you've got some terrible disease, you go and ask for a second opinion. You will no longer be entitled to ask for a second opinion, and a doctor can be struck off if he gives you one. That is where we are heading. And these things are going through parliaments, they're being debated with next to no, sometimes no debate in the newspapers alone. The mainstream media is something that I could go on for a long time on this topic, but geez, they disappointed us all, didn't they, during COVID? The so-called champions of the people, the champions of freedom that should have been standing up for us and our rights and saying no to these incredible restrictions that were put in place that were ruining people's lives, and ruining our kids' schooling. They should have been standing up, highlighting these things, but no, they just remained quiet and went along with it. Once again, it was left to independent media, and there's plenty of it, and good on them. I mean, I got into the habit during COVID, as I'm sure we all did. But the first thing I'd look at in the day was independent media, not the mainstream media I've been looking at for the whole of my life. That's where it's going. That's where it's going. The voice to Parliament itself, which I mentioned at the top. Well, the voice to Parliament, what is it? It's not going to be elected. I mean, they've decided it's too hard to elect the voice to Parliament because it's very hard to pick out who could really genuinely show some connection with the Aboriginal people and who is merely ticking a box. They know that. It's too hard. So there will be no vote for that reason. And in any case, how could you vote for a voice to Parliament representing any group, as Jacinta Price pointed out earlier in the day? Are we to have a nation voice to Parliament to tell us what Penny Wong should think? Of course not. Right, Parliament now. There've been 15 Indigenous representatives in federal Parliament. 11 of them are in there now. And it ranges from everything from the great Jacinta Price to the man staring bonkers Lydia Thorpe, and in the middle, Jackie Lambie. You can imagine the voice, can't you? What can I say that represents all these viewpoints? It's absurd. As Jacinta says, it robbed us of our humanity. It makes us all consider, perhaps we could have a voice to Parliament for craggy old ex-POMs, I don't know. But it's an absurd idea. So what will happen? Who will this voice be? It will inevitably be the voice of the woke establishment. It has to be. Because they take all these things. So what do we do in the face of this? You're going to look for the redemptive message here, aren't you? And I've got to try very hard to give you one. A moment of hope, what we can do. Well, one thing we can do, I was amused by anybody, if there's anybody by Nigel Farage. Of course, our politicians are hopeless. But they're only human, and we have to stick with them. Because we have to, in the end, I believe, if we really want to change things, if we don't want to stand on the edge like Extinction Rebellion, screaming like idiots, actually changing things, actually making this a better country and in a better world for our children and our grandchildren, there are only two teams on the pitch. Everybody else is a spectator. That is the parliamentary democracy that's evolved here, and up to now, overall, has served us pretty damn well. So you've got to get with the team, you've got to back the team. And when you look at people who you've seen today, people like Amanda Stoker, people like Alex Antic, marvellous voice in Parliament. People like Matt Canavan. These are people that have spoken to you today and inspired us today, but their path has not been easy. They have had to show enormous courage to stand up for what they believe in Parliament, and they make a difference, believe me. Even if it's just a voice raised in the party room saying, no, we shouldn't do that. That's not true to our principles. They are important. So if you want to change the world, I just urge you to stick with the party, stick with a main party, because that is the only way you will actively be able to change policy in this country and therefore create a better future and a freer future for our children. That's my message today. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and the ADH TV commercial, you can watch me every Friday night at 8 o'clock on ADH TV. Thank you.
Hope Award for CPAC Australia 2022. Please welcome back to the stage Warren Mundine, Andrew Cooper and Amanda Stoker.
Wasn't that fantastic? What did you say? ADH, 150,000 people are watching us. Yeah. Wow. I think we're going to get to our 10,000 attendance.
Well, that was 10 a.m. this morning. So the reach is there, people. The reach is there, and our content. There's a market for it, right?
Yeah. We're here to give out the Freedom and Hope Award. I wanted to call it the Warren Mundine Award.
Characteristic modesty.
And Andrew said, no, we call it the Warren Mundine Memorial Award.
Eventually.
And I said, wait a minute, I'm not dead. And he said, that's a technicality. We'll fix that.
We do have another award. Does anyone remember, well, Amanda, who was that politician that used to be with us in the Parliament? And there was an award named after her, I think.
There is an award named after another blonde, a little bit taller than me, who has a very distinctive accent.
She's very screechy.
Sometimes, yes. Now, did you know that she was a boat person?
Was she?
She was. Now,
She was, yes.
this woman, you might know her name's Christina Keneally, and I believe she might be known to some
Does
extent.
anyone remember Christina Keneally?
But she really had a lot in common with the constituency of Fowler, because she too had to catch the boat from Scotland Island to be able to commute to do her job every day. So she knows just what it's like to flee from war-torn Vietnam.
Well, that long train trip too.
Terribly. I don't think she catches the train, hun. But the Christina Keneally Cup. Christina's got a very special place in all CPACers' hearts, I think. But she's got a special place in my heart because for the very first CPAC, I was treated in a late night Senate sitting. I was in the chair. You know, we do duty taking turns of who gets to chair the Senate during those moments when no one wants to be there. Short straw for me. And Miss Keneally rises to her feet and launches into a tirade about a convention that was a cavalcade of hate, a festering wound of discrimination and bigotry. I'm thinking, oh golly, this sounds dreadful. And then she says, I'm headlining it, and it's CPAC, and it's next weekend. I'm like, hang on. That benign gathering of decent people who care about small government and strong families and balanced budgets and the principles that unify us all as human beings, apparently we were right-wing extremists. But now that we have been televised on ADH, now that we have several years worth of evidence to point to, I think...
We're still right-wing extremists.
Well, the verdict is in.
But we're
and
very
I think
diverse. We've got a woman, a blonde-haired woman. We've got
genuine.
a bloke. He's a bloke this week. And myself.
And we've got Denzel Clooney here. So, I think the proof is in though. These are normal, mainstream, solid sound beliefs. And the purpose of the Christina Keneally Cup, you know, cup is spelled with a K, is to make sure that those who try and deplatform good ideas, those who try to shame good Australians away from standing up for common sense, get the ridicule they deserve. And tonight, at the gala dinner, that one will be handed out.
Yeah, and I think every Conservative, with the benefit of hindsight, probably misses Christina Keneally. I mean, she was the greatest driver of...
She made more people come to our conference than anyone else.
Exactly.
And in fact, we were going to give her 10% of our ticket sales.
I do think she was the best free advertising for that first conference.
And I think as all CPACers should take a moment of silence and mourn the political passing of Christina Keneally. It's very sad.
Rather than a minute's silence, let's think of it this way. You know, a number of you have been very sweet and kind to me in the course of our chats and saying, oh, I'm sad you missed out on Parliament. Don't think about losing me. Think about the fact that you instead no longer have to deal with Senator Keneally in the Parliament. That's the big win of the last election.
But we affectionately call the cup the KKK Cup.
Moving on.
Very, very quickly.
But you know, that's a fun award, right? And it came about organically, and Craig Kelly came up with the concept of that award. And Craig actually is popping around for the dinner tonight which is great, right? Good to see Craig back, I think. But this award, this is called the Freedom and Hope Award, and this is a positive award. This is given to the people or the person or the movement or the initiative eventually that truly represents the positive future that we aspire to, that we put our faith in and put our hope and dreams in. And Amanda, I know that the inaugural winner of this award is a very good friend of yours, and perhaps you can introduce her and bring her on stage. Why just giving it away?
You just said her, so I think you need to go with they, them.
They, them.
Or Imperial Royal Highness.
Yeah, His Majesty.
Z, they, or how do we pronoun this? Look, this person exemplifies courage. She is smart, she's strong, and her moral fibre, her sense of right and wrong, is something that I think has energised and given a real sense of hope to the people in this room and well beyond. She's got a huge future, not just because she's young or because she's smart, but because she's got ticker. And it's that ticker that's going to make the difference in giving Australians everywhere the courage they need to stand up for what they believe in, to not be shamed into a corner, and in doing so to make our culture and our country freer, better, stronger for all of us. Do you want to do the honours? You want to name the name?
The name is, much as I'm really hard to say this name, is Jacinta Epigenia
It's a bit heavy. Do you want some help?
It's alright. I can carry the weight of this. Yeah. I'm not often a little bit speechless, but I can usually talk my way through a wet paper bag. But at this moment, I am a little bit speechless. First, I guess I want to really thank Andrew, and I want to thank Warren for pulling together this wonderful event for all of us, for keeping that fire going, making sure that we all understand we've got each other. We've got each other. I want to thank Amanda, because many of you may not know, but she's been my sister from another mister for quite some time.
Yes,
And I was actually planning to be in the Senate with her. That didn't quite eventuate as planned, but I know we're certainly not finished with this wonderful woman right here.
She's the new and improved model. She's good.
No, I'm just a different flavour. Yeah, I'm really, really, really honoured to be presented with this. Sometimes I think it is a huge responsibility. I think there was a point in my life where I went, I've said a few things publicly and I've pissed a few people off, but there's probably no turning back from here. I probably should just keep going forward, right? I can't stop now. I can't stop now. I have to keep going. I've managed to be misrepresented in the media already. According to a Daily Telegraph article, I've been complaining. I've used my speech to complain about Penny Wong and transgender activists and fat people. Literally, that's what it says. So, the media are doing their job remarkably, as we can expect. And all you bunch of racists out there, you know, I hope you've enjoyed my horrible speech today. But look, we cannot stop arming ourselves with the truth and fighting for the benefit of each and every single one of us. Because if we're doing all right, we can make sure that it's those marginalised ones.
And that's why she's amazing. She cares.
I wasn't going to do that. But it's those marginalised ones. It's those voiceless ones who don't have the same opportunities. That's who we're doing this for ultimately. Because if we can fight for our freedoms, we're fighting for their freedoms as well. With the same opportunities. So this is for them. That's who this is for. And thank you everyone. Thank you for your immense support and love. It's I can very much say that I have truly, undoubtedly felt your support all the way in every form that you have offered it to me. I'm grateful. My husband's grateful. My family are grateful. Because it is a bloody tough job, but you make it that little bit easier. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jacinda. We had a vote. It was between me and Jacinda, and the vote was at 99-1. I don't know who the one vote was for. But we love you. Thank you. As I said, that maiden speech in Parliament was a speech that I've been waiting for all my life. So great. Congratulations.
Please thank Jacinda Price and Amanda Stoker. Well, we've come to the end of CPAC, and I'm really curious. Is anyone curious about what Matt Schlapp thinks of CPAC Australia? Matt, are you in the... Is Matt in the doorway? There he is. Matt Schlapp, come on up.
I thought I was getting the award.
Tomorrow.
This has been amazing. I hope you all agree. Can we all say thank you to our wonderful hosts? And is it true that 150,000 people are watching online? I know it's a little bit early in America.
No.
It's on our website.
At 10 a.m. it was 150,000.
That's amazing.
So they're just tremendous, right? It's tremendous. I just want to say quick.
That's better than Q&A's ratings.
Look, I just want to say there's a bit of a lot of thanks going around for you and I, Warren. But honestly, the people, the volunteers that you see, Lyndall and Robert and Corey, these people that
Amazing.
They know who they are, and also the people that support us financially. This is not an inexpensive exercise. The people involved, they're all doing the heavy lifting, and you coming here and paying the crazy prices we ask for you to, you know, it's just fantastic. As far as I'm concerned, we're all part of the same tribe here, Warren.
That's right. Look, it may surprise you because he's given us all the kudos and everything like that, but we're just the pretty faces of this organisation. I've got to say, we've got 30 volunteers out there who have been working their bottom off. We should be thanking them for that work. Look at you. Our event manager and the team who got together, what an opening, what a SMIC, except probably for us too, really great program they put on and how it looked really great.
All I have to tell you, Warren, is that, you know, you have a whole other day to go, so just, you know, take it easy. We gotta pace ourselves, okay?
Oh yeah, I should. That's right. I should hold back on thanking the workers because it could be a disaster tomorrow.
But I mean, that draws us to a close, essentially. So those of you that are going to the dinner, we'll see you soon. That's 6:30 at the Sheraton Grand, level 2, I think it is, from memory. You'll be there, won't you, Matt?
I will be there.
And you'll be there, won't you, Warren?
Yeah, I'll be there for the first one. I'm hungry.
The inaugural Freedom and Hope Award recipient will be there.
Yep, that's right.
And hopefully a lot of you will be there. And for those of you that won't be, we'll see you tomorrow, I hope, because for me, this has been just a fantastic return into Australia for CPAC. It's been fantastic having you on board, Warren. I'm just so proud that you joined us. It's great to see you back here.
It's amazing what a couple of vodkas can do. But tomorrow too, we've got some really great speakers in that tomorrow again. We had fantastic people today. I was so proud sitting in the audience listening to them speak. And you too, Matt. And and the crowd. Look,
Warren, paybacks are hell, I want you to know.
So we've got these great speakers tomorrow, and also I'm going to, at 10 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to have a 15-minute chat just about where we're going to be taking CPAC, how it's going to be the number one organisation, conservative organisation here, but also about our influence into governments and into the business sector, and we are going to be working hard to get more people involved in this organisation. And look, because as one famous boxing bloke said, we love yous all.
Thank you, and good night. We'll see you soon.
Thank you everyone for joining us for a fantastic first day at CPAC Australia. We look forward to seeing you all for another thought-provoking and inspiring set of speakers.
Yeah, I did. Why?
You did get a tech later on?
Yeah. Oh, not later on. Just when you saw it.
I'm going to run because I've got JB with me, huh?
Go, run. It's all good.
Mate,
This is my first moment.
later on.
You don't have a power bank, do you?
No.
See you, mate.
I sent you some images already.
Thank you. Kev. Chris. Would you like those photos? Yes. All right, guys. We're up.
Fake news pass.
Yeah, you like it? Isn't it? It's all fake news, especially if we're live streaming it. I don't know, yeah. What do you think of CPAC, guys? Yes, we got to have a chat with some people. We had a protest, we had some speeches, we had some interviews. Not bad. Not bad as things go. Not bad. Let's head back out to the media section and see if we can grab a few more chats with some more people.
Did you get good footage from the protest?
Yeah, I did. It was really good.
good. Are
I
you
just
live?
posted a clip on Twitter.
Nice. Are you live at the moment?
Every time you see me, am I live?
Yeah.
And now as well. If you're here, you're happy to chat. What do you want to say?
It was a very good event. It's a shame that we had a bunch of zoo animals rock up halfway through to protest, but oh well.
I was hoping that there'd be some conversations between the two of them. That's what I always like about, what's
You are
right.
hoping?
Yeah, I know.
Is there ever?
Yeah, I know. And look, if you give up hope, it doesn't take anything away from the people who oppose whatever it is that you're doing. It takes something away from yourself. Like if I give up filming protests or doing anything like that, it doesn't change anything there.
Oh, no,
This is the man right at the front line of this.
Never give it up. It's always entertaining for us to watch your lives, your clips. So
I
don't give that up.
Barkley's just got to give him a warning before he does anything spicy.
Did you end up finding?
I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to do a footage swap? Because I got some footage for you, you got some footage for me.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do that. Yeah.
In a minute? Do you need a minute? I'll give you a minute.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. We'll do it when we get in the car. Yeah.
In the car? Or we'd be able to airdrop it to each other,
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
which would take moments.
Yep. I can do
want.
that right now.
We just need to find a power bank because my second phone is dead. We can do that. That means that rather than transferring, it'll just be a lot faster.
Yeah.
Do you have a power bank?
No, I don't.
I'll see if there's one behind the desk then if you want it.
Yeah. Well, there's a Uber waiting for me out there, so I just gotta go.
Okay.
We'll work it out. I promise. I'll message you.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
Tony. I'm live as I always am.
Oh, g'day. Hey, hello everybody. How are you?
Tony.
Hope you're all well.
Did you catch the protest?
Outside, no, I got in just in time, and I seen what was being said and done out there. I think it was quite unfortunate, given that they claim to be inclusive and yet they divide. But
Who was your favourite speaker of the day?
I thought Nigel went well. I think another good one was Matthew Whitaker. One of Trump's.
Matt Whitaker? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Matt Whitaker from the USA. He was another good one.
What's going on with the UAP?
Look, I think it's an economic decision, really. I would have thought.
What is?
With the UAP.
No, what's an economic decision?
What's that, sorry?
What is an economic decision?
Oh, with the UAP, are you talking about the deregistration, the administrative?
Man, I'm talking about everything. You deregistrate, what?
Yeah, look, I really don't, in terms of the mechanics, I don't know. It's, we're foot soldiers, as they say. And, look, at the end of the day, I think conservatism is what it's all about. Whether it's with the UAP or someone else, I think conservatives on itself, I think they said it in there too. It's the root. That's what we want, and that's there. Whether there's a colour shirt or a flavour or something, that's totally different. It's, are you a conservative at heart? If you're a conservative at heart, you get the family values, you get the Christian, all these worshipping type background. This is what we want. We want to keep the family together. We don't want these issues of divisiveness coming through society, which we're seeing permeate coming through. So.
Do you want a photo with Jacinda?
Yeah, what do you?
I'll make sure you get it because I've got contact details. Jump in there.
Oh, okay. Just tell her.
Grab her. Just ask her. Yeah, great. Can I get a handshake? Looking at me. Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
Everyone happy to see Jacinta. I'm going to step in now. It's my turn. Jacinta.
That's from 2019.
19.
Okay, quickly. I'm sorry. I'll get in trouble if I don't get all the feet and everything in, so... And let me just get a bit close up as well.
Errol, can you hold up the photo? Can you hold up the photo from 2019?
2019.
I
got to go and punch through it now. Oh, there we go.
Yep, a little closer to get. Yeah, great. Thank you. Now I'm going to grab.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All power to you.
Thank you.
I've just come from the protest outside where they said that they were Black, Indigenous, Aboriginal unite against the right. What do you have to say? What do you? You've just won an award in here in the right, as it were. What do you have to say?
I'll say, go and find something more constructive and useful to do with your lives that can contribute to society more productively, and allow for people to have a difference of an opinion. That's what a free democracy actually encourages. So instead of trying to just trample on people, maybe understand, maybe buy a ticket, sit down, and have a listen to what people are actually talking about at CPAC before you jump on the easy bandwagon to attack people. because no one's out there having a go at you.
They say you're just doing it for the money. It's just about... Are you just doing it for the money?
Am I just doing it for the money? I don't think any politician really actually does it for the money, because to be quite honest, if they had to work as hard as I've been working, I don't think they'd be able to handle it. And aside from that, I'm there because the people of the Northern Territory put me there. I'm there because there are vulnerable individuals in my community that need someone to stick up for them, who actually knows what's going on the ground and who doesn't try to use them to further their agendas and their cause. So that's what I'm there for, particularly children. Children are most important to me. And they can go to a community, if they want to be more productive, they can see for themselves exactly what's going on out there and act in ways that might benefit their lives. That would be a better way to spend their time than standing outside a building yelling abuse.
Senator, thanks for your time. Streaming on Discovery. Nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
Bye, Jacinta. No. Thank you. Congrats again on the award.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Senator Jacinta Press. Just to raise some of the issues that people outside had to say to him. Yeah. If you're in her position, how do you respond to Black, Indigenous, Aboriginal Unite Against the Far Right? It's the discussion that I tried to bond the two between each other two groups is that the protesters outside were concerned about economic equality, were concerned about economic issues is something where you can start more of a dialogue, but social, the chance, I don't know how to put the two in the same room and have them talk together, but it was good to have Jacinta have a brief chat about that. She's lovely, she's great. Been to her a few times, keep talking to her. See if we can grab some interviews over here. If I can grab Matt. Matt, we've just finished up day one. Yep. We've just had a protest outside where people were yelling and screaming. I spoke with Jacinta about it, and she said find something better to do. But is there something more than that? Is there something that can be listened to by the protesters?
I didn't see any protesters, to be honest, so I can't judge them.
They complain about...
I'm a bit disappointed there weren't more. I might need to up my game, because apparently there were more cops than protesters, but good luck to them.
They were complaining about issues around Black, Indigenous, Aboriginal Unite Against the Right was the main chant that they had there. How do you begin a conversation?
It's pretty hard to respond to slogans, so as I say, they're welcome to their voice. It's a free country, that's great, but we've had a great day here, a great bunch of people, and everybody should be able to express their views in our free country. So thanks mate.
See you, mate. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. There's a man with a tinfoil hat and an opera singer. Opera singing? I don't know quite what to describe it as. I'll chase him down and ask him a bit more. See if I can. Anyway. See if we can. Excuse me, sir. Bit of a.
Did you like the songs?
I missed out on the song. I missed out on the song.
Well, Eric's got the songs on his on his phone.
No, I'm literally fake news. Yeah, that's me.
So you're not fake news, eh?
No, actually, it's the last CPAC that you weren't at.
A bit of.
Oh, go on. You're being asked for an encore, Jim.
No, it's okay if he doesn't want to.
No, he does.
Which company are you with?
I'm fake news.
Before?
No, not at all. They think I'm fake news, and I'm happy to indulge in
Hey, why don't we go back to the reverb?
Jim, this is... No, watch this.
No,
Michelle?
I you
I
got
know.
a Facebook
Chris
page or-
Goverys.
It's called Chris Discoveries, our live stream protest. And in this case, about to live stream some. I don't know if I'm going to get some encore opera, am I?
Oh, it's raining. I've all gone home. haven't
No, I don't have. It's okay. All good. All good.
You ready for it? Okay.
Are we going to do it? You're going to do it? All right.
Fake news, fake news, fake news, bullshit news, spreading propaganda, fake news. And when the brainwashed people waken to the lies that they've been told, they'll demand some answers from fake news. And after the war in Germany, propaganda peddlers they did pay, spreading propaganda, fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news, bullshit news. They demanded answers from fake news.
Thank you for the encore.
The other one.
No, it's fine. Thank you, sir.
You guys, there's
Thank
a
you.
better version back there. But
No,
this
it's
is
okay.
right.
That's great.
That will have to do.
Thank you.
For our pleasure.
See you. Bye. Wow, a little bit of singing, a little bit of operas. That's lovely. A real taste of CPAC. We've had opera, we've had singing, we've had upside conversations and downside conversations.
Because that is that he said to Emma. That's why Emma was
Had political, apolitical. I'm going to see if I can grab some more people. Oh, see, this isn't always a place to grab for interviews because they want to get on the elevator and you got to let them go, but it does make it in a hurry.
See ya.
Bye. Do you want to chat? You got a minute to chat?
Oh my.
We. Can you talk or you don't want? Yeah. I'm trying to bring you on. We spoke just before the protest. We now had the protest.
Yeah.
Did you see a bit of the protest?
I did. I saw them all rush to try and get in over this side.
Dana got.
Oh my! Did she really get hurt?
Yes, I just posted a clip on Facebook and Twitter. I don't think she's been injured, but she got roughed up. She did get roughed up.
Gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
She has such. She like
Guts.
She's the guts.
Yeah, she
to
is.
be able to do that by herself and stand in front of that group of people.
She does what no one else could do. Because if someone else would step into that, they'd start swinging punches and doing and just going way over the top.
I
So
don't know
someone
how
just
she
pushes.
stays so calm.
She just open hand intervenes. She's great.
She carries herself really well.
She does. She really does. But yeah, Barclay ended up in a difficult spot.
Oh my goodness! I think I saw a part of that.
Yeah. And Dana had to step into that. But
Gosh.
yeah, I know.
Oh no! I stuck to the side.
Good move.
And then
Good
I
move.
just tried to get back in, but they shut all the doors. All of the sliding doors were locked, so you could only go in through the front.
Mhm.
So isn't that terrible though that they had to do that?
It's just how it is.
I know it's expected.
It's
I
just how it
guess.
is.
But
I mean, is it terrible? I'm glad that Dana was able to be there. Again, the question becomes about the whole safe space of should Barclay have been there? Well, it's his kind of, it's his event, right? So shouldn't he be safe at his event?
Yeah.
And that's where you get to the question of why are they showing up at someone else's event trying to stop that? It would be like a group of conservatives showing up at the Marcus
and
and
it never
conference.
happens, does it? You
It
don't
doesn't.
see police at those events because it's just the respect. It's just legitimately being an individual and having your own opinions, which is essentially what this was all about. It's just individualism. That's it.
And respect and politeness is an inherently conservative value. So.
Exactly. It's just insane and sad, but
Is what it is. Move on.
yeah.
Thanks for the chat.
That's all good.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, I'll be here tomorrow as well. Are you going to the gala dinner?
No.
No. Okay.
Is that like a $5,000?
It was expensive.
Yeah. So no. See you. Bye. What a lovely little tune you had. Fake news, fake news, fake news. Lovely little sing-song. I don't know if I think it's necessarily good, but he sung it. I've already doorstopped Matt once. He took one. Don't have to do it twice. Got Lyle Shelton, George Marr. Lyle Shelton, former CDP. Trying to make things out there. Now Christian Democrats out there. Stephen Chabura, I'll hit him up. Actually, Libertarians, got a moment to chat? I'll pick you. Can I pick you out? I'm on live. You know I'm on live stream. Come in. You got time for a chat?
Sure.
I'll walk and talk with you.
We're live streaming. How many you got?
I'm across all platforms, so I haven't even looked at all of them. It restreams it out to all of them at once, so I don't get to see it. But I am here to ask you. You were outside during. We had a party outside.
Yeah, it's a very brief one.
What'd you make of that?
People.
What'd you think?
I was pretty boring in the end. I was hoping for some excitement, but just I couldn't even understand their chants. Then once someone explained them to me, they didn't even make sense, and then they left.
Your former president, Gabe, was there, and what I had to find bemusing was I wasn't sure which side he was actually on because he shares ideologically so much with the anarchists. Like, Gabe, are you going to join in? And he's like, well, I would, but I don't think they'd have me. He was, and he made a joke that he was the only man in a skirt there.
Yes, well, also, yeah, his naturally scruffy demeanour means they probably wouldn't be able to tell whose side he's on.
And that's a sign that your Libertarian Party, how inclusive that is. You invite men with skirts, or men without skirts.
Kilts, I believe.
Kilts, well, I'll let them identify their own.
There's a whole fake country north of England that was into it for a long time.
Clothing pronouns.
Clothing pronouns, you smart ass.
Coming to CPAC, Conservatives and Libertarians have sometimes at times a uneasy alliance because there's a lot that you don't always agree with. But do you feel any sense of discomfort ideologically walking these halls, talking to people here?
Well, I don't feel any discomfort. I mean, people disagree all the time, and that's fine. I don't mind disagreeing with people. But no, firstly, there's lots of people here I do agree with on a lot of issues, so that's fine. I'm also quite happy to hang out with people I disagree with anyway, so...
Do you feel that this conference is more libertarian or conservative?
I would say it's conservative with libertarian-friendly spaces. Like, Coops, the guy that runs it, was formerly the national president of the Liberal Democrats, so you can see he's got a bit of a libertarian background and influence. So I think that probably influences it. There's the small government conservatives and big government conservatives, both called conservatives, in my opinion, very different beasts. Small government conservatives are natural allies for libertarians, and vice versa, right? Libertarians are natural allies for small government conservatives. I'd say this is a small government conservative conference. If it was a big government conservative conference, I'd still happily go, but I would argue a lot more.
So you'll find some Christian conservatives here, and some from the Christian Democratic Party, and so on. And those where you might have more back and forth is what you're trying to say. Whereas at Friedman...
Well,
hello, mate. You were saying?
I don't know, what were you saying?
I was saying that with Christians and conservatives...
Oh, yes, mate. Firstly, Christian conservatives come in lots of different stripes too. I mean, I've got some Christian conservative friends who are pretty much just borderline libertarian as well. And then you've got some big government types. I guess you're pointing to the fact that historically some Christian conservatives have been big government types.
Yes.
Sure, then I disagree with them more. But I don't think that goes without saying, by the way. I think you can have small government Christian conservatives. I have a lot of sympathy for that.
Dr. Humphreys, current president of your current role, you're president of the Liberal... what? I'm sorry, you're rebranding. Liberal Democrats.
Well, for the moment still.
But you're about to rebrand to...
That's a secret. Tune in.
Thanks, John.
All right, chat soon.
See you, mate. Bye. That was a good chat. President of the Liberal Democrats, John Humphreys. A good chat with him. They're in the middle of a rebrand at the moment, so they're trying to work out what they're going to call it because the Liberals are trying to work out where they're going to next. The Liberals raised a case that the branding was too similar, and now they're trying to work out where they go to after that. So we'll see how that case goes next. I'm on my way back to find one Stephen Chabura. I speak with Boyd, former, I think he was an executive member on the Ozcons. Boyd, free for a chat?
Huh?
Free for a chat?
I was just about to head out. Oh, you mean on this?
Always, mate.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, free for a chat.
Quickie, yeah.
What do you think? Number one. The one line that you really paid attention to.
I wouldn't say there's only one line, because there's so much content on there today.
Nigel.
Nigel Farage was interesting and entertaining, as always. I'm just kind of like encouraged by the fact that there is.
That's the man that I was trying to hunt down, Mr. Chavura.
Okay.
Talk with me while I try and chase Mr. Chavura.
Yeah, so I just encourage that there's other people out there who actually care about freedom in Australia, and we're often made to feel like we're fools or we don't have anything to contribute by all sorts of different sources. But here we can hear people who are actually trying to encourage us to do, to participate in our democracy, and also that we can. See you, mate.
Thanks, Boyd.
Oh, I don't know. I know.
Ever present.
Are you actually live?
Always.
Right now?
Every time
live.
no, I just naturally hold my phone like this. I find it more comfortable.
Okay, it's good. Well, it's good to see you're always doing great news. The fake news pass. That's very good. I like it.
It is. This is all fake. Hello. You're walking back this way.
I am.
Please.
I'm just trying to track down some friends of mine.
Did you see any of the protests happening outside?
No, I didn't see Rent a Crowd, but I saw a brief clip of it on the screen, and the usual suspects. Of course, they're all masked up outside. You couldn't expect anything more from them. That's good.
I was speaking with Dr. John Humphreys about whether this conference is more libertarian or conservative, and he says he finds a lot of agreement between small government and big government between the two. But inevitably there'll be something there that the two want to go one way or the other. And that might be with the protest outside, or if they try to disrupt your speech in here, that a big government person would say, you just can't do that. Can you see where libertarians and conservatives here have an alliance, but also their splits might also show you the divisions?
I mean, I think that what's inevitably going to happen with this movement in Australia is that people are going to have to philosophically sort out the tension between libertarianism and conservatism, because they're not the same thing. There might be some overlap, but they will always sort of be in tension with one another. I suppose mainly because conservatives will believe in things like sort of the sanctity of the family, the sanctity of probably the nation state, and libertarian, and that they will believe in a kind of moral liberty, a moral freedom, a freedom within the constraints of certain moral truths, maybe a natural law or something like that. Whereas sort of typical libertarianism really just sees freedom in negative terms, less government, and that's all you need to be free. I don't think that's really the conservative view. So I do think there's some helpful overlap between the two, particularly on the size of the government. But beyond that, I think it's something we'll have to work out a lot. And I would actually describe this conference, I mean, I haven't heard the word libertarian uttered once yet, but I would describe this conference, it is kind of a mixture of what you might call conservatism and sort of and heavy. The big focus of the conference is actually on freedom. Historically, I actually wouldn't say that freedom is the big focus of conservatism. I think it's one ideal in conservatism among others. So we'll just see how the movement goes.
But you can see that that dialogue will need to happen at some point. That post-COVID, the libertarians and conservatives have reached for each other with open arms. Because the gap to the other side is so vast and yawning. It's no longer about should we legalize marijuana or not. Now the discussion has turned into something else.
Yeah.
But I want to go and grab Coops, who's just walked behind you there.
Sure, no problems.
But
It was nice to talk to you. Okay,
I'll
see you later.
try and speak to you in a minute.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Joe. Oh, thanks. Andrew, can I grab you for 2 minutes? And I am live.
How you doing?
Give him I'm live.
Yeah.
A long way from 2019, from a small hotel in the city to now you're in the International Convention Centre.
Yeah.
Looking forward, looking back.
Well, we said we were going to do it, didn't we?
And you did it.
Yeah. Well, we haven't done much yet. We've got to get to 5,000. That's our critical number.
How many were you this time?
About 1,000.
About 1,000?
Yep. Yeah. So on our way, but still, long way to go. But 5,000 in Australia is a significant number, and it makes us. Help sort of craft the agenda, the political agenda each year. That's what happens with CPAC in the US.
You had about 70 outside chanting Black, Indigenous, Aboriginal, unite against the right. You had the nuclear former Greenpeace activist.
Zion Lights.
Would you describe her as or Jacinta or others as right-wing?
Mundine.
Warren Mundine as right-wing.
Racist.
Hey, he was the Labour Party.
He's the leader of the President of the Labour Party.
President of the Labour. Would you
Tonight, Mark Latham, the leader of the Labour Party, was speaking. Jacinta Price, former deputy mayor of Alice Springs. They're crazy, those people outside. I mean, I was disappointed, only 70, that's crazy too.
You wanted more?
Well, I mean, we probably had that many at the first one. Like, we're growing our numbers, what are they doing?
I got to ask Matt about Raheem, and he said all past hatchets buried, everyone welcome, just wants to move forward, would take anyone's call. So that was glad to hear there.
Right.
Because that was a face from 2019 that sparked the Keneally Cup, was Raheem's issue.
Well, it was Christina Keneally, as the left do, lecturing Raheem about it, what he should think about and how he should live his life. And look, fast forward to 2022 and you've got, you've got the left, you've got the Labour Party lecturing Aboriginals like, Warren Mundine and Jacinta Price, how should they should think and what they should say and what they should feel. I mean, it's just they're learning nothing. They're going crazy, and they want to apply identity politics to all of us. We're white men, right? So we're actually insignificant, nothing. We're nothing in the broad scheme of things now.
I was standing downstairs with Donna Pham. What I had to didn't realise until later that Barclay reminded me she's a transgender person of colour. I wasn't thinking of it at the time. While she was holding a sign saying I'm transgender and a conservative. Because first and foremost she was trying to engage in a dialogue. You may have missed, but you should catch up on Discoveries, a clip of where she's standing between Barclay and the others, getting roughed up. She's getting pushed. She almost falls to the ground several times. It got violent outside.
A bit willing out there, did it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Barclay not bruised it, but his lip was he was tending to that. And Dinah's hands looking. She was some of the webbing on it.
Right.
It genuinely, because they were running from.
It's just crazy stuff, right? It's insane, and that's the kind of culture we're dealing with at the moment.
The leader of who was on the megaphone is the person who pushed me down the stairs at Catherine Deeves' event.
Right, yeah, okay.
I actually got to confront him afterwards, like, hey, can you pay for my MRI? But he just pushed the camera away and tried to push it in my face. I did a bit of ACA with him, but that's where we're at. That happens
that's where we're at.
Regularly now.
And violence is, they'll call us sort of violent extremists, but they'll be the one that perpetrating the violence. And you've been in here, you've seen what you've seen. There's no one violent here.
No.
It's relatively a tame event, but it's a good event. I'm loving it. It's energising, right?
It is.
Yep.
Thanks, Andrew.
Good. Thanks.
I'll leave you to dinner.
Good. Thanks, mate.
See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Who we got next? I think we've just about captured just about everyone. Nice chat with Andrew. I've seen him at previous CPACs. Pleasant conversation. Friendly guy. Good chat with him. I think this is the last one. Last one's all good.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Sorry.
No, okay. Yeah, pretty much no one's left, guys. So we'll look for the next one. All right. You all right, guys?
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, interesting.
I might just tell him we'll meet him at the top of the escalators.
Yeah, just so that these guys.
Weird.
Actually, I'll have to text him because he's not answering.
Ooh, Senator Stoker. No, Senator Stoker looked exhausted. She looked exhausted. She's tired. She's tired. I'll leave Senator Stoker because she looks tired, but I will try and grab Amanda tomorrow. I had a quick couple of minute chat with her earlier between sessions, but we'll grab again tomorrow. And now I've got a night of trying to clip some of these bits together for you all. If anyone wants to be a video editor, please reach out to me. I'd love to. And that was good. It was a long night of working ahead. Grab George Mile in a minute. Joe, you got a minute?
Hi.
How's your day?
Yeah, it's pretty good. As you know, I rocked up late, so I'm just like, I saw probably the better speeches from Farage and the others, but yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was an interesting conference. It was nice to sort of be an observer and not really have anything to do with the management for this one, because obviously I've been doing the other Nigel events. So yeah, I was very relaxed, just having a yarn with people, beautiful people here. But yeah, pretty much it. Yeah. And obviously I didn't see all the kerfuffle at the start, so.
I wonder where you'll be able to catch all of that.
Well, I posted one thing. I'll check it out. Yeah. Anyway, beautiful.
Leave you with it.
All right. I'll see you later. Have a good
See you.
one.
Is Malcolm? No, I'll leave him. I'll leave him be. But there is one more person that I do want to talk to. It's the photog. As much as it is Zuri, I wanted to catch up with your photographer. Is this your photographer?
No, no. Yes. But I have
Your
taken
personal?
his photo.
Your personal? Is this your personal?
Oh, wait, you want to pay me? Let's go.
You missed out on. We had a great protest outside.
Oh yeah, I actually wanted to talk to them. I didn't see them.
Tomorrow.
They'll
be back.
I want to speak to protesters.
I'll give you one of their chants, which was Black, Indigenous, Aboriginal unite against the right. Do you?
Okay, I definitely want to talk to them.
Dana, a transgender person of colour, attempted a conversation. She was holding a sign that said, "I'm a transgender and conservative." Anyway, so she got roughed up.
Got roughed up? Really?
Yes. She was standing next to Barclay McGain when things became violent.
What? Just today?
Yeah.
Just an hour ago.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Live streamed it, but I'm just trying to go with that dialogue here, trying to work out. What do you think about a transgender person of colour who's a conservative getting attacked by trans rights activists?
Look, these activists are not. They're in it for themselves. They don't care about the people and have not been requested for or designated by the people they claim to represent. There's a lot of activists in the world who claim to be for or speaking on behalf of a certain group, and they're absolutely not. That goes for the trans rights activists, that goes for a lot of so-called, Black Lives Matter activists or feminist activists who claim they're speaking for all women. No, they're not, they're speaking for themselves, and so on and so forth. That's just the reality of it, man. And be wary of people who claim to speak on behalf of you and your whole group, or millions and millions, let alone billions of people, when no one's elected them to do that.
Well, good.
That's what I think about it generally.
Thanks, Zuby. Sounds good to check. For those who don't know, Zuby, he's a UK-based musician, rapper, and he also came out. He's regularly on the Conservative trail. He's regularly out there, and so I got to ask Zuby what he thought of a transgender person of colour being attacked by trans.
To expect from tomorrow in terms of protests, but we'll see what happens.
If anything, you'll have some infiltrators, but I don't think you're going to have enough.
See you tomorrow. Take it easy, Andrew. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.
Malcolm's exhausted.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen Malcolm lately, he's been tired.
Yeah, well, he's a hard worker,
and he does everything himself.
No, look, he's got a good guy on social media.
He's always carrying his own bags,
coming
straight off the plane. He's always going through his agenda, and I'm just looking at him. He just looks tired.
Well, what do you do when you're a minor party?
Yeah.
And you're on the right side of politics? Yeah.
So
it's not easy.
No. And a lot of people can. Even on the other side, I see there's plenty of Labor Party, missed entirely. There used to be more centrist Greens politicians, but it's hard to name any anymore.
Yeah.
Like in state parliament, there used to be that the Greens upper house member who got kicked out for sexual claims. And he was an actual environmentalist, but I can't think of too many Greens moderates anymore.
Yeah.
It's all Jimmy Wrong's videos.
Where do you see the state election for New South Wales going? Because Teals
really get going. If we have a European-style energy crisis, then we should see a shift to the right, all the way to one nation. And I think it flows over the top of the Libs. I don't think the Libs can catch that rain rushing to the other side saying, we want cheap energy, F it all.
I have a thesis. I feel like even if the Conservatives don't do their job and they go with a left policy, even if the One Nation and all the other freedom parties, the Lib Dems and all of them, even if they are on message and out-conservative them, I'm worried that the numbers will still mean we lose by one seat in the upper house. So, i.e. the lefties, they have one seat over us. We saw that in South Australia. We missed out on the balance of power. One seat. What ended up happening was they appointed in the upper house a Liberal Party, Labor government, but they appointed a Liberal Party to sit in the stand because he'd get extra money, and he took it. And so, but if he didn't do that, if they took one off the left side, like a Labor person, they would have had the balance of power. In fact, Sarah Gain, who's a One Nation person, would have had the balance of power. Yeah, look at it, check it out. And
she's a mod. She's not a raven. She's just
very tame. She's the next generation. She's part of the next generation, I think. I mean, I don't know all of her policies, but she does wear the One Nation brand, and I think that that's what I'm worried about. That's my thesis. So in Victoria, I don't think they'll get the upper house balance of power. And in New South Wales, it'll come down to one seat. It all depends on who the Lib Dems and who One Nation put as their first and second candidate. They're going to need someone with, I think, star power, someone that is electric, and someone that can actually bring the mainstream. Because if there's one thing we've seen, protesting, yeah, awesome, cool, no worries. But it's become a bit incestuous. So we're stuck with probably in every state 10 to 20% of the population of each state is in this freedom, libertarian, conservative,
12,
Christian.
15, call it. Yeah.
No, hang on. I say 10
20?
to 20. I'll tell you why. In New South Wales, I haven't said this yet. I really should do a segment on this. In New South Wales, I'm doing some stats, and it turns out we have 1 million people that are eligible to vote that they don't vote. They either don't vote or their vote doesn't count. So I'll give you the numbers just because it'll fill up time. We've got 5.5 million eligible voters in New South Wales. 5.4 million actually are registered. About 5 million end up coming out to the polling booth, so that's 92% coming out. And then another 500,000 have invalid votes about. And so that ends up, in total, you go from 5.5 to 4.5 that actually cast a ballot, turn up to the polling booth, and their vote counts. And so when I say, and there's a lot of people in the freedom community that they actually told people don't go and vote, there's no point. And so that's why I say
and to vote improperly.
Deliberately, George Dixon shit. Now that...
Not even that, just in other ways. What they thought was the right way, but in fact just ended up an exhausted vote.
Exactly, and so that's why I'm
Which I can say, left-wing, pro-hemp, climate change, I don't want anyone voting improperly. Yeah. This isn't about a specific part, but to tell someone to vote improperly, and that includes what Morgan Jonas revealed with the AEC when it comes to that advice, is just one of the worst.
Exactly, so that 20%, you can see what I mean when I say in New South Wales,
Oh, thank you.
I hate that.
All
the time.
Yeah.
20% is how many aren't voting in New South Wales. So I'm not saying they're all, freedom community, but that's just the people that aren't casting a vote properly. Add that to the people that actually are voting in the freedom community. So in New South Wales, freedom vote was about 10.2%, roughly, a little over 10%. Wow, we're talking about 30% of the population. Take a bit off that. I am perfectly comfortable saying the freedom community in New South Wales is at least 15%. In other states, it's bigger. Queensland and Victoria, obviously, they've got a senator up.
All of these numbers are great, and numbers do matter, but messaging matters more than numbers. And I'll say, just to briefly touch on Labor, Chris Minns is the leader the Labor Party needs, talking about gang crime, talking about speeding fines, tolls,
all that, roads,
really broad issues.
Mainstreams, he's not getting drawn into the woke stuff because he knows we'll smash it.
In fact, Dom is going into the woke stuff. Yeah. Dom is the man who said, "Get me up there, I'll change the flag myself." From not 3 years ago, where he said, "Oh yeah, just put a billboard with a flag in and just change it all the time." I know that seems symbolic, but it is symbolic of everything else his premiership has been so far, in a massive compromise, Malcolm Turnbull style, just to get to where he is today because he's got a no-seat majority. And that's why talking about the major two parties is kind of a done and dusted unless Dom can really change things. Yeah. You've got a Labor Party government, and now it's just a discussion of where's the miners. And that's where on the minors, Teals, I think, are going to catch more of that swing in the lower house than anything else. They've got the money, they've got the momentum, they've got the volunteers. Whereas on the other side, on the freedom right, you've got 4 different parties arguing over this 12, 15, 20, whatever, arguing over these percents, which just get frittered away to 3.5 parties, and you go nowhere.
Yeah. And so look, I think, as I said before, in New South Wales, it just seems as though that's where we're going. It's gonna come down to the wire. And if New South Wales, because this is the thing, guys. This is the thing. Federally, we know where things are. Opportunity to stop things in its tracks. The mandates, the lockdowns, they all came from a state level. Yes, Scott Morrison enabled them with the vaccine passports by giving them access to the federal immunisation record. And yes, he didn't step in on allowing people to have free travel between the borders, which is a constitutional right. Yes, he enabled them, or he was, he sat on his hands. But the states are where we can actually stick it to them. And in New South Wales, unfortunately, we can't in Queensland. Geez, they really have Ocean 11 us now that I think about it. In Victoria, let me just say this. In Victoria, they have a system where the upper house is regent. So you get a Glenn Jury type figure running around offering legal services. It's not illegal. We're running around offering legal services.
Oh,
Jesus.
Wow, okay.
Offering legal services and basically, almost gaming the system. It's not illegal. It's, in my opinion, it's immoral. And look, if Victorians want to go with the guy, okay, cool. It's your state. I'm not from Victoria. You can save it how you want. In Queensland, it's a unicameral system, meaning there's only a lower house. There's no. If you cast a vote in the at the bottom of Queensland, you can't combine it with someone from the top of Queensland. You're segmented only per 50,000 people or whatever it is. Whereas if you had an upper house, a vote in the south of Queensland would also be able to add it to someone in the north of Queensland, so Conservatives could rally. In New South Wales, we have that. We have that. So I think 3 or 4 upper house members in New South Wales, and it's possible. We got 2 last. We can get the Lib Dems or them up. You're right.
You can join us. We're talking about
Lyle Shelton, another person doing phenomenal
We're talking
work.
about your favourite topic. If you want to join in, please.
I'll see you tomorrow. See you, Lyle. That's Lyle Shelton. He's setting up the Australian, not Australian Christians.
Oh, he's setting up?
Family First.
Family First.
So he's in the registration process. The Victorian Electoral Commission have been very slow.
Family First. Wasn't there already Family First?
There used to be,
merged with the Australian Conservatives.
They merged.
And then Corey,
so
people instead would rather pay more attention into what Aussie Cossacks doing this week. Or what bombastic stunt Romeo Georges is pulling off tomorrow.
Is he still around? I didn't realise.
It's a metaphor of, I think
You're not
attention will get caught up with the new stunt, the new funny, blow up, viral, and I think everything you've been talking about is the exact opposite of what is leading clicks and will lead to another Aussie Cossack. Don't vote for the UAP because of the Libs, and will just lead to everyone just staying home and not voting.
Well, I don't have time for. I don't tell my audience to do things very often. Yes, I tell them to like, share, subscribe because that's censorship. But in terms of being on the street, I don't